Hello and welcome to another video. Today we have an exciting new game at hand, Genshin Impact. Released on September 27th and still under development, so there may be changes in the future. It is a sandbox free-to-play fantasy RPG with microtransactions. It offers a well-balanced experience between casual and deeper gaming. In fact, it is surprisingly complex for a game more on the casual side. Genshin Impact is mostly single-player oriented with the possibility of co-op play up to 4 players. So far there doesn't seem to be any form of PvP, which makes microtransactions less intrusive and potentially game-breaking. Whether you want to play single-player or co-op, you have to be constantly connected to the internet, certainly a downside for some players. The game is not too challenging, so you can have loads of fun playing solo. However, having some help in certain challenge events can be handy if you want to win more resources. Being free to play, the game is expected to feature microtransactions, the scourge upon modern gaming industry, but it is done well in this game. Microtransactions serve only to buy new characters and to quickly gain weapons and leveling resources. Good thing is, you can obtain them without too much grind by exploring, questing and doing challenges. The exception being new characters, which are unlocked through gambling mechanic. Gambling or wishing system of Genshin Impact uses two types of wish points, Acquaint Fate and Intertwined Fate. They can be acquired in events in very small quantities. You can use 1 point for one wish, or use 10 points at once for a guaranteed high-end item or a character. Besides random items, you get Stardust and Star Glitter points. They can be exchanged for more wish points or various other things. The primary source of wish points are Primogems, a special currency earned in almost every activity in small amounts. They accumulate relatively fast, but if you overuse them you will certainly feel the shortage. They are the best way to use gambling system without using real money. However, if you want to get a lot of them quickly, you will have to untie your purse. To obtain best rewards, some limited time events require real money too. In my opinion, it's the best to pay as much as you believe the game is worth to support the developers. Otherwise you will sink in a large sum of your hard-earned cash, and for what? Some in-game items. Another limitation related to microtransactions is original resin, required to collect loot from bosses and dungeons. Like energy in browser games, it restores over time, 1 unit every 8 minutes. It can also be restored by using fragile resin, an item obtained through leveling, or by spending Primogems. Unless you gamble them away, Primogems are not too scarce, so you'll never feel constrained in regards of collecting loot. Characters in Genshin Impact have linear progression. They have only 3 active skills or talents: normal attack, elemental skill and elemental burst. Elemental skill is your main attack with relatively short cooldown. Elemental burst is your strongest move that you have to charge up through combat. You fight effectively by switching between your characters and utilizing their skills in unison. This simulates the diversity of a wise character tree you have in other RPGs. Depending on enemies you face and your playstyle, you choose the party of 4 characters. Every character has a single elemental affinity: water, ice, air, fire, earth, wood or electricity. Elements mutually react in combat, resulting in various effects. For example, electricity combined with water or ice does bonus damage. Ice and water cause freezing, while air spreads the elements around between enemies. You can easily figure it out just by playing, even without the game's tutorial. Combat has overall smooth feeling. It's quick-paced and exciting. It's made easier by telegraphed signs of strong moves and marked area of effect even before the attack lands. This is true both for bosses and regular enemies. The AI is simple, but works very well with hack and slash mechanics. If you develop your characters well and choose a good strategy, you won't have any problems fighting bosses or mobs. The game gets more difficult as you progress because enemies scale with you. The experience you get in combat and questing is insignificant. Instead, characters level up by using experience pages you earn and loot. Once you reach a certain level, you have to invest resources to ascend to next level cap. Ascension boosts your stats, unlocks new talent skills and allows you to level them up. Reputation system or adventurer level limits how far you can improve and ascend characters and gear. It unlocks new quests and challenges, and it scales up enemies and loot. Adventurer level is increased through questing, challenges, opening chests and beating bosses. There are roughly 3 main types of characters: melee fighter, bowman and mage. Melee fighters can only use a single weapon type, each with different damage and attack speed: sword, claymore and spear. They are well balanced between normal attack and active abilities with elemental effect. Bowmen can strike from very long range, far out of enemy reach, but they are very inefficient with normal attack, as they have to charge their draw for full effect. This makes them slow and out of place in the game's fast-paced combat. Besides long range, their advantage over melee fighters is elemental damage on every charge strike, which does not cost stamina. Bow is the only long-range weapon type in the game. Hopefully we will see muskets and crossbows in the future. Some enemies use them, why not players too? Mages leave bowmen almost obsolete, because their normal attack is elemental. Although less powerful than bowmen, they are very fast and can fight effectively even at close range. So if you have 2 mages in the party with compatible elements, you can make short work of most enemies. Their short to mid range can't be considered a weakness because they are very versatile and can take a beating almost as well as melee fighters. There is no significant difference between mage weapon types, tomes and catalysts. Any mage can freely use either one. As it stands, characters are obviously out of balance, with bowmen underpowered and mages overpowered. Since the game is still in development, it will probably change in the future. Along with multiple characters in the party, the diversity of abilities is produced through passive skills and gear effects. As you progress, each character will unlock 2 passive talents which boost their active ones. However, passive skill tree Constellation is not that easy to unlock. There is enough resources to develop your main character, but for others you have to use the gambling system. Characters can be powerful even without developing the Constellation tree, so it's not that big of a loss. Besides weapons, gear consists of artifact sets. Equipping 2 or 4 pieces of the same set gives bonuses. Both weapons and artifacts can be leveled up to increase their stats. Weapons are leveled up by using any other weapon or special ore as materials. Those with passive effect can be refined up to 5 times with an identical weapon. Refining increases the passive effect. Like characters, weapons must ascend at certain levels by investing required materials. Artifacts can only be improved by spending other artifacts. This isn't a problem because you will have plenty to spare. They have a level cap depending on their quality. They also get another random stat every 4 levels. The game starts with the selection of your main character. You can choose one of the sibling travelers between the worlds. When you make your choice, the other sibling will be abducted by one of the game's 7 gods. Your character gets their original power sealed in the name of RPG progression. In the main questline, your character explores the world while searching for their lost sibling. In the process, they get involved in the conflict between various factions. The story is mostly classical stuff you can see in anime. It's not bad at all, but nothing spectacular either. Main questline is fully voiced. Dialogues vary in quality, but they are overall good. There is a lot of humor and irony. Both main and side quests are completely linear. You do have some dialogue choices which don't seem to have any effect whatsoever. Side quests are mostly simple delivery, fetch or kill quests, but there are also a lot of more interesting ones, like investigations or puzzles. Besides regular quests you get from NPCs, there are random quests in the wilderness to save someone from monsters, to clear roads, or to fetch something to an NPC. There are also 4 daily commission quests which give you nice rewards. Once completed, you can get additional reward in the Adventurers Guild. They are generic and boring, but rewards make them worth doing. Side quests and friendly NPCs are not very numerous, considering the huge game world. It makes it feel a bit empty. It makes sense for civilians to stay away from wilderness, but you would expect more adventurers and the military to patrol and explore. Genshin Impact shines in the environment and exploration aspect. The scenery is stunningly beautiful, with vibrantly colored vegetation, mountains, rivers and valleys. You get magical wings for gliding early in the game. Coupled with free climbing ability almost equal to Magnus Midbow, they give you a lot of freedom of movement. Most games don't have this feature, so you are forced to do long detours to get anywhere. The only limiting factor is stamina, which determines how long you can swim, climb or glide. There are a lot of teleportation spots you can activate, allowing effective speed travel. To increase stamina, you can level up god statues. They require worship points scattered across the world. They are not too hard to find because they are marked on your map when you get close. Despite the lack of quests, the game is packed with content. The world is littered with treasure chests, herbs, minerals, puzzles, dungeons, ruins and challenges. Just exploring gives you a lot to do. Some chests are guarded by monsters, some appear after you solve a puzzle, and a lot of them simply lie waiting to be opened. However, this is obviously a game thing, which along with simple NPCs and dialogues takes away from the immersion. It will mean a negative point for some players. The loot is generic, mostly money, items for leveling and random gear. Depending on the chest quality, you can sometimes score something more useful. What you fail to discover in the world can be made up in repeatable dungeon challenges. Dungeons and bosses are the main source of quality gear and resources. Beside mentioned loot chests, there are also special ones locked in shrines. To unlock them, you have to earn a key in dungeons or quests. They drop random loot of higher quality than other chests. The game is overall very good, but it can still be improved. Graphics, characters and level design are gorgeous. Exploration is very interesting, but the world feels a bit empty due to lack of friendly NPCs outside towns. Combat is well made, but characters are still unbalanced as I mentioned. Quests and story are good, but nothing special. Microtransactions are reasonable and non-essential, so the final verdict 7 out of 10.